Mellow Beats, what you think?
What's going on, guys? In today's video, we're going to be talking about the 2014 UConn Huskies basketball team and what happened to all the players who played a critical role on the team's national title run. If you love college basketball, be sure to subscribe to the channel and check out all my other content. I need your help to get to 1.7k subscribers by the end of April, so if you could take a moment and hit that subscribe button, I would really appreciate that. I plan on making a ton of videos based on this concept, so if you have a certain team in college basketball, or college football, or even the NFL or NBA that you want me to do, be sure to comment that down below with that suggestion, and now let's get started with today's video. Going into 2014, UConn was led by their second-year head coach Kevin Ollie, and were coming off a season in which they were banned from postseason play due to poor APR rates. The team returned Shabazz Napier, Boatright, and DeAndre Daniels, with a recruiting class that included Amina Brima, Kenton Facey, and Terrence Samuel, as the Huskies were expected to be a tournament team come 2014. They began the year ranked number 18 in the country, and actually started out 9-0 with wins over Maryland, Indiana, and Florida at the buzzer. After a loss to Stanford, they went into conference play with an 11-1 record, and were ranked number 15 in the country. To this point, Napier, Daniels, and Boatright were the team's three leading scorers, and they are expected to compete with Louisville for the American Athletic Conference crown. The Huskies dropped their first two games to Houston and SMU, but they bounced back with 3 straight wins, including one over number 17 Memphis. After losing to Louisville on College game day, they won 10 of their last 13 games and finished with a 12-6 conference record. They beat number 19 Memphis and number 13 Cincinnati before they lost to Louisville in the championship game, and they finished with a 26-8 overall record. Going into the 2014 NCAA tournament, the Huskies were given a 7th seed in the East region. Their first matchup was the St. Joseph Hawks. The game was close the entire way, and after a missed shot at the buzzer, the game went to overtime. They came out on a mission in the extra period and won 89-81 as Shabazz Napier led the team with 24 points. Moving on, they were set to play the number 2 seed Villanova. Despite being led by James Bell, Darren Hilliard, and Ryan Archidiakono, UConn was the better team that night, and they went on to win behind Shabazz Napier's 25 points. Their next challenge, the number 3 seed Iowa State. Led by Big 12 Player of the Year in Melvin Ejim and Dustin Hogue, the Cyclones are a really good team and expected to be a great game. It went on to be a close game as expected, but the Huskies went on to win behind DeAndre Daniels' 27 points and 10 rebounds. Now UConn's Cinderella story was really starting to pick up steam. People were starting to wonder just how far they could go. In their next game, they were matched up with the number 4 seed Michigan State, and many thought they had finally met their match. The Spartans were one of the more talented teams in the field, as they were led by Adrian Payne, Gary Harris, Brendan Dawson, and Keith Appling. The game remained close until the very end, but once again the Huskies prevailed behind Napier's 25 points, and he was having a Kemba Walker type tournament performance. The Huskies were now in the Final Four and set to play the number 1 team in the entire country, the Florida Gators. The Gators were under head coach Billy Donovan back then, and they were led by Casey Prather, Scotty Wilbekin, and Michael Frazier. The Huskies got off to a slow start, but Napier led them back in the second half and sealed the game with free throws down the stretch. They ended up winning 63-53 as DeAndre Daniels led the way with 20 points. In arguably the weirdest tournament game ever, the Huskies would end up facing the scorching hot Kentucky Wildcats in the national title game. The 8-seeded Wildcats were led by the Harrison twins, Julius Randle, and James Young, and they're going to be a real test for UConn. The game got off to a fun start as it went back and forth for most of the first half, but just like the rest of the tournament, the Huskies played their best basketball in the second half and eventually built up enough separation to calmly close out the game and win the 2014 national title as a 7 seed. After the game, Kevin Ollie became one of the biggest coaching names in basketball. Shabazz Napier solidified himself as one of the best players in NCAA tournament history. DeAndre Daniels significantly improved his draft stock, and Ryan Boatright became one of America's favorite role players. But as of January 2020, none of them are even remotely relevant in today's basketball world. So my question is, what happened to them? First, we're going to start out with their head coach, Kevin Ollie. After winning the title, Ollie was one of America's brightest young coaches, and he got a huge salary boost. The following season, the team was way less talented and only managed to make the NIT, but fans weren't too worried. They bounced back in 2016, led by Daniel Hamilton, and made it back to the NCAA tournament, where they became an 8 seed and won their first round game against Colorado. Following that season, things began to go south. Huskies went downhill really quickly and failed to even look competitive at times, and actually missed any sort of postseason tournament in both 2017 and 2018. Everything finally came crumbling down for him after the NCAA began to investigate the program. Turns out UConn committed multiple NCAA violations, and Ollie failed to monitor his program along the way. As a result, he was fired, and the school was hit with 2 years of probation, a loss of scholarship, fines, and vacated wins from the 17 and 18 seasons. Because of this, if any school wants to hire Ollie before 2022, they have to meet before an NCAA committee. Overall, Ollie was a really good coach for about 1 year, struggled to put winning teams on the court, and sank the UConn basketball program into the ground. Moving on to the star of the team, we are going to look back at what happened to Shabazz Napier. Shabazz grew up in Massachusetts and became a 4-star recruit in high school. He committed to UConn and played there for 4 years. He steadily got better each year, and during his senior year he averaged 18 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists, while finishing near the top in a ton of historical program records. After the season, Napier was a projected first-round pick. He ended up going 24th overall to the Charlotte Hornets, but he was traded to the Miami Heat on draft night. After a promising summer league performance, he spent most of his rookie season in the G League and eventually suffered a season-ending hernia injury. Since then, he's bounced around on the Orlando Magic, Portland Trail Blazers, Brooklyn Nets, and even the Washington Wizards. He's also traded to the Warriors and sent to the Timberwolves, where he plays now. He's yet to appear in a game this season, and it looks like his NBA career is quickly coming to an end. Occasionally, he showed a lot of promise in the NBA, but he was just too old for any team to ever invest in. Now moving on to our next guy. DeAndre Daniels played most of his high school basketball in California, but ended up spending 1 year at IMG Academy before he became a consensus 5-star recruit. He committed to play for UConn despite their postseason ban, and actually had a really solid career there. After a bad freshman year, he bumped his sophomore numbers up and eventually played his best basketball as a junior. After his 3rd year, he declared for the 2014 NBA draft and was expected to be a 2nd-round pick. He was eventually taken with the 37th overall pick by the Toronto Raptors, but he never made the team and signed with the Perth Wildcats. After 1 year in Australia, he went back to Toronto with hopes of making the team, but spent all his time with the Raptors 905 team. Following that, he went to Europe for a year and played in the G League for 2 years. Now he plays in Europe once again, and I think he's finally given up on making it to the NBA. Boatright hasn't been mentioned a ton in today's video, but without him, I don't think UConn wins at all. He was the team's 3rd scoring option, a leader, and the team's best defender. Ryan grew up in Illinois and was co-Mr. Basketball with former Stanford star Chasson Randall. After becoming a 4-star recruit, he originally committed to West Virginia, but he later changed his mind and decided on UConn instead. His career got off to a rough start as he was declared ineligible for parts of the season due to receiving improper benefits. His sophomore year was much better, as him and Shabazz became one of the nation's best backcourt. As a junior, he improved and helped his team win the national title. Daniels and Napier were gone, so as a senior it became his team, and he was named the preseason AAC Player of the Year. His senior campaign was highlighted by a buzzer beater to beat Cincinnati, but his team had to settle for the NIT. Ryan was never going to be much of an NBA player, as he went drafted in the 2015 NBA draft, but he did get a chance with both the Nets and the Pistons in his rookie year, but he ended up spending all that time with the Grand Rapids Drive of the NBA G League. After that, he spent time in Italy, Turkey, and China, before signing with a team in Yugoslavia where he currently plays. Overall, I really enjoyed making today's video, and down the road I could make a more in-depth video on one of these 3 guys, but if you guys want one of those, please make sure to let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed today's video, be sure to hit that like button, and I really need your help to reach my 1.7k subscriber goal by the end of April, so if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you guys again soon for our next one. Until then, peace.